High-definition news updated for Thursday afternoon, October 8th, 2015. I'm Jeff Kaufman.
I think I shocked some of you, huh?
Bakersfield Republican Congressman Kevin McCarthy with what may be the political understatement of the year so far. Until a few hours ago, McCarthy had been the leading candidate to succeed John Boehner as Speaker of the House, until he shocked his fellow Republicans and the rest of Washington by suddenly dropping out of the race at a closed-door meeting at which Republicans were supposed to vote.
If we are going to be strong, we got to be 100% united. And I think, you know what? Let's put the conference first. I just think it's best we have a new face.
Mr. McCarthy, how much did your comments about Benghazi last week play into your decision to step aside today?
Well, that wasn't helpful. I could have said it much better.
Another understatement. Here's the backstory. Speaker of the House is a powerful office, but not just because it's second in line to the presidency behind the vice president. The Speaker hands out committee assignments and office space at the Capitol and has a huge role in deciding which bills make it to the House floor for a vote. The Speaker is an officer of the House as a whole, unlike other congressional offices like Majority Whip or Minority Leader, which are elected just by the members of the majority or minority party. All House members vote for Speaker, but the majority party's choice usually wins because all it takes is a simple majority. Republicans were supposed to vote today to elect the successor to John Boehner, who quit last month rather than continue fighting with the extreme right wing of his own party, which has seen Boehner as too quick to compromise with Democrats. That conservative and Tea Party wing of the party claims credit for the Republicans winning control of both houses in Congress in 2010. They cheered when Boehner quit and have been grumbling that McCarthy is just Boehner's mini-me and they might not vote for him. So McCarthy might have needed a few Democratic votes to become Speaker. And then on September 30th, as leaders in the polls often do, McCarthy stepped in front of an open microphone and said something he probably wishes he could take back. McCarthy was on Sean Hannity's show on Fox News Channel. The subject was the latest of several House special committees Republicans have formed to investigate the attack on the U.S. Embassy in Benghazi on September 11th, 2012.
Everybody thought Hillary Clinton was unbeatable, right? But we put together a Benghazi special committee, a select committee. What are her numbers today? Her numbers are dropping. Why? Because she's untrustable. But no one would have known any of that had happened had we not fought and made that happen. Good.
Aha, said Democrats. We knew it. All the Republican talk about Benghazi was what we said it was all along, a vast right-wing conspiracy to smear the leading Democratic candidate for president, Hillary Clinton. Aha, nothing, said Congressman McCarthy a day later, and yesterday, with his election to Speaker not quite a sure thing anymore, he said so again.
Let's be very clear. Benghazi is not political. It was created for one purpose and one purpose only: to find the truth on behalf of the families of the 4 dead Americans. Period. I've been very clear about this, and don't use politics to try to change this around. I could have been more clear in my description of what was going forward, and I've stated that. But there's only one reason why that committee was created, period.
That's what McCarthy was talking about today when he said he could have said it better. Democrats like to point out that the current special committee on Benghazi, which is not even the first committee on Benghazi, the current special committee on Benghazi has been operating longer than special committees the House set up to investigate Pearl Harbor, Watergate, the Iran-Contra arms for hostages deal, Hurricane Katrina, and the assassination of President Kennedy. That last special committee had a name, the Warren Commission. Burbank Democratic Congressman Adam Schiff told MSNBC the Republicans should just admit the jig is up.
He was speaking out loud what we have long suspected, so it was a much more blatant acknowledgement of the real purpose of this select committee. But that purpose has been apparent for quite some time. A month ago, I wrote an op-ed in the New York Times calling for the committee to be disbanded.
Outgoing Speaker Boehner, who is still in charge, postponed the election for Speaker when McCarthy dropped out today, and there will be a lot of campaigning and horse trading behind closed doors before another vote. In August, 3 boyhood friends from Sacramento were vacationing together in Europe and boarded a train from Amsterdam to Paris. One of them, U.S. Air Force Airman First Class Spencer Stone, saw a heavily armed man bolt out of a lavatory. Sensing a terrorist attack, Stone leaped from his seat and tackled the guy before he could get off more than a shot or two. His 2 buddies, Oregon National Guardsman Alex Scarlatos and student Anthony Sadler, helped hold down the gunman until police arrived. Stone was hospitalized briefly for some cuts, but soon recovered, and all 3 were honored first with with membership in the French Foreign Legion, and then with a salute from President Obama at the White House. Violence has followed the three men back to America. Scarlatos was in rehearsal for Dancing with the Stars when he got word of the shootings at the college in which he was once enrolled, Umpqua Community College in Roseburg, Oregon. And now we are learning that Spencer Stone was stabbed early this morning in Sacramento and is in serious condition at UC Davis Hospital. When they took Stone to the hospital, police officers thought he would not survive because he had multiple wounds. They now say doctors have told them they expect him to recover. Police say Stone was stabbed after a dispute at a bar. A group that included Stone got into a street fight outside with another group of men. Police say they don't know what the fight was about, but they say terrorism had nothing to do with it. Stone was the only one hurt. Surveillance video shows him walking away from the fight under his own power, but with a large red bloodstain on his shirt. Nobody has been arrested. Millions of baby boomers learned something about loyalty and loss from the classic 1957 Walt Disney movie, Old Yeller. When audiences fell in love with the yellow lab, it was because the movie character played by Kevin Corcoran fell in love with him first. Corcoran played the younger brother, Arliss, who finds the runaway dog in Texas after the Civil War. When Old Yeller's owner, played by Chuck Connors, comes looking for him, Corcoran's Arliss seals a deal so the family can keep the dog.
Well, I guess so. Will you feed her, Mama?
Of course I will.
All right, I'll swap you.
Here, boy. He's all yours, boy.
Come on, Yeller, come on, boy.
Everyone knows what happened to Old Yeller, but we won't play that clip because you won't be able to hear the rest of this newscast if you're sobbing. Kevin Corcoran acted in other Disney movies like Swiss Family Robinson and The Shaggy Dog, and he appeared on the original Mickey Mouse Club. He quit acting in the 1960s. He once said that when a producer and a director were unable to describe a character in a film they were all working on, he realized he knew more about making movies than they did. He became an assistant director. He died of cancer on Tuesday in Burbank. Kevin Corcoran, Old Yeller's best friend, was 66. Before Alton Brown, Anthony Bourdain, and Susan Feniger, before even Alice Waters and Mario Batali, before the modern TV celebrity chefs, back in the 1970s and early 80s, Americans probably knew the names of only three superstars of the spatula: Julia Child, the galloping gourmet Graham Kerr, and Paul Prudhomme. Before Paul Prudhomme opened his restaurant Cape Halls in New Orleans, blackening was something you did to a piece of paper with a marking pen, not the way you cooked a catfish. Gumbo was a mispronunciation of a skinny green cartoon character, not a spicy stew. And if you said Cajun, people thought of those guys in Deliverance, not a style of cooking. Prudhomme's restaurant and his many cookbooks led Americans to embrace Cajun-style cuisine, and it made him famous. Chef Paul, as he was known, died this morning in New Orleans. Paul Prudhomme was 75. In Long Beach, the elderly man who was confirmed in September as the city's first case of West Nile virus this year has now become the first person in Long Beach this year to die of the disease. City Health Officer Mitchell Kushner says the man's death is a sad reminder of how severe West Nile virus can be. He reminds us that the disease is spread by mosquitoes, and the best way to keep them away is to eliminate all standing water in your yard or anywhere else. Well, that did not last long. The effort to gather signatures to put a measure on the ballot in 2016 to overturn the state's new mandatory vaccination law is over, only a week or so after it started. Yesterday was the deadline to turn in more than 365,000 valid signatures if the repeal was going to make it onto the November 2016 ballot. State Senator Tim Donnelly admitted yesterday his signature gatherers were nowhere near that goal, but he and other opponents of the new law say they will keep fighting to overturn it. Did you notice that an awful lot of TV stations, including almost all of them here in Southern California, decided it would be better yesterday to send a reporter out to break the big story that McDonald's would start serving breakfast all day long instead of only till 10:30 a.m., than to send that reporter out on, what do you call those things again? Oh yeah, a news story. Which leads us to low definition news. It's not news, but that doesn't stop the news media. But today, the practitioners of low-definition news are not the producers, assignment editors, and news directors who should have known better than to allocate limited resources to what was a free commercial for Mickey D's, which is A, not a 501c3 charity, and 2, has enough money in the bank to buy some ads. No, this morning's low-definition news goes to the morning crew of the McDonald's in Encino, which is where KTLA Channel 5 sent reporter Wendy Birch to do a multi-hour free commercial on its morning news program. Birch had done a few live pops, as we sometimes call them in the TV business, when the staff decided that Birch practically begging viewers to spend money at the Golden Arches was too much of a distraction, so McDonald's booted her out. Just down the block, the crew at the Encino IHOP was watching all of this unfold on live TV and recognized the ringing fries-are-up bell of opportunity when they heard it. They invited KTLA to have Birch broadcaster McDonald's commercial live from the IHOP, knowing she'd mentioned IHOP a few times too. On a day that every other reporter on the story was giving a rhymes with snow job to McDonald's, the crew at the Encino IHOP was smart enough to get a little media love too. Now you know what we know. I'm Jeff Kaufman, High Definition News.